Welcome to the Manifestation Pod. We're Sam and Louise, two ordinary mums living extraordinary lives.
Every 2 weeks, we're diving into a new well-being, self-care or self-development topic that we've used to manifest a life of joy.
We want you to join us on this journey. We are all about building a community of people who are ready to do the same, manifest their best life, one step at a time.
So grab a cuppa, get comfy, and let's get started.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to, I can't even speak, the Manifestation Pod. This is Louise. Sam's here too, and we are recording episode 3 of season 3. A little bit of an angel number, so that's good. How are you, Sam?
I am very well, thank you. Nice to be back on the pod. We've had a bit of an overextended, unexpected break, haven't we?
We have. We've had a very long summer. We have both been busy, though. We've had a lot of holidays, haven't we, over the summer? So, yeah, this has been the first time that we've really been able to do it. And we've not seen each other, really, have we, at all? I think we saw each other last week, and obviously we talked about the pod, and that maybe had it in my mind then to maybe record an episode. I've been thinking about it this week. So, yeah. So we should see more of each other.
Yes, we should.
And then maybe we'll do more podding.
Yeah.
But we've just kind of had a conversation, which we really should have recorded because it was that good, about how often we're going to do it. And we're just going to do it when we do it. We're just going to go with that flow. I'd like to try and do it a bit more, but, you know, we'll do it when we can do it. We're busy.
Yeah, exactly. Just go where the energy of it takes us when we've got something we want to talk about, which we think will help us and others.
Absolutely. And that's where I was this morning. I woke up and I was like, oh, yeah, I know what I want to do. I want to do the pod and I want to talk about, well, we're going to talk about boundaries, which we'll come to. But yeah, but we'll start with our little check-in. So how are you? How was your summer?
My summer was lovely. Someone asked me to describe it in one word recently, and I said hedonistic.
Love that.
No, because it just felt very like free and flowing and lots of like lovely little visits and trips away and just loads of freedom and yeah, lots of good people, good times. So yeah, lovely. Spent a couple of weeks and weekends in Cornwall visiting friends and time with family and went to Glasgow and then just loads of lovely little bits around that. So yeah, it just felt very hedonistic.
That's nice. What a great word for a summer as well when you're feeling that.
I know. I'm not sure I've felt that about a summer before. So I don't know. Maybe it was just very intentional. I'm just having this time in my life where, because of whatever happened after India, I just feel like everything's a new thing. Like I'm experiencing summer for the first time.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and like coming into September, I'm like, oh, this is like a new season. Like I've never experienced this before. So everything just feels really new and then intentional and different. So yeah, interesting time.
That is interesting. Maybe you just seen it through kind of fresh eyes, these Indian eyes that India gave you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just feeling like a new me. So yeah, through my new eyes, seeing everything. So it's a good time to be alive.
It is. I'm also feeling like a new me as well. Although I've only just thought about that because you've said it. But I am. I'm feeling very intentional. Everything I'm doing is intentional and is good and is effortless and it's flowing towards me. And that's all really happening without much input from me. So this year, I didn't have goals at the beginning of this year. This year, my word for the year was holiday. Well, 2 words, holidays and connection. So I wanted to have holidays with friends and family, more holidays with friends and family than just like me and Charlotte or whoever. And that's really happened. And the summer, we've had like lots of holidays to the point where you invited us to Cornwall for a weekend. And I was like, no, I've had too many holidays. I want to stay at home, which I appreciate is a really first world problem. But I've not spent a fortune things have just flowed to me. My cousin got in contact at the beginning of the year and said, "Oh, should we do a family holiday somewhere not where either of us live?" So we did that. We've now got another family holiday because of circumstances in October, which we never do. We're potentially going to Wales for New Year, which we never do. We've been to France, been to Brussels, been to Glasgow. No, we haven't. We had a day in Glasgow. We've been to the Scottish Highlands. Yeah, it's been really good. But it's interesting about be careful what you wish for, because honestly, by the end of summer, I just felt burnt out from holidays. Because as a mum, they're not quite as relaxing as they are when I say single, I mean, when you've not got kids and you can go away, say, with a partner or your friends, and you just think about yourself because you've got all the prep to do before you go. You've got things to put in place while you're away. You've got all the aftermath when you come back of washing and stuff while getting back into work. And yeah, you used to kind of think about that, don't you, with the holidays?
Yeah, and I do feel like I want to like stick my feet in this ground, like right here for a few months now and just like take a breath from a bit,
Yeah.
which is a nice feeling.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I feel exactly the same. When I say I'm like a hermit, not in a bad way, I'm just feeling really peaceful at home at the moment, and my kitchen's finished.
Yay.
It's only taken, 2 years, but it's finished, and I just feel like I just want to enjoy being at home in a house that's finished, and we can just enjoy now.
Yeah.
But it's getting a little bit colder and stuff, so yeah, I'm feeling like that. Life's feeling pretty good at the moment.
Mm. It's funny, it reminded me of like my word for the year, which was sacred, wasn't it? If you remember. And it's been a very sacred year. I wasn't even sure what that kind of meant earlier in the year, but like my life is so much more sacred. And I guess now that just means like more connected to spirit and things and nature and the universe. And that's definitely just become such a bigger part of everyday life now. And thinking about it, it's really changed like manifestation and intentions and stuff as well. Because, like, if you think when we first started off with manifestation, we were like
Mhm.
lists of goals, like massive
Yeah,
lists of goals, weren't we? Like, kind of, I don't know, maybe applying a bit of manly energy to it, or like,
yeah,
I don't want to say it might be capitalism or corporate energy in a way. I don't know.
yeah, yeah. I'd agree with that.
Yeah. Whereas now, I don't know, manifestation is like a daily thing because I'm living so intentionally. And if you can hook it onto that word that you're using for the year, great. But also, like, I just kind of wake up most mornings and think, like, what do I want to achieve today? What do I want out of the day? Try and be as intentional as possible. And, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Like this eclipse portal at the moment is kicking my ass. But it's like all happening for a good reason. And,
Yeah,
challenges come up that need to be worked through. And yeah, I don't know. It's been a really interesting year. So,
yeah, no, exactly the same. And to go straight into our topic of conversation, which is boundaries, I feel the same. I feel like, I mean, I flick through my goals list now and then, but actually, it's just really become a things to do list to move me forward. Just something that it's a bit of an anchor that I can look at and go, actually, I've not really done much of this and I've not really done much of that. But it's all real practical stuff now. Whereas actually this year, the same for me. I feel like I've been on a journey this year and it's just effortless. It's just flowing. Everything's happening for me without me actually having to do anything. And I feel like I'm more in tune with my feminine energy because I'm not, right, this is what we're going to do. Because I can be very like that. I've definitely got a lot of masculine energy for getting shit done. But I think in terms of the bigger stuff like relationships, I wake up most mornings just feeling grateful, not going, oh, I'm going to do a gratitude list. I literally wake up most mornings and go, oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy at the moment. I've got everything I want. and I've got everything I've wanted for like a while. And that's only come into play because I've been so firm in boundaries on what I don't want. And that has left the door open for all these good things to come in.
Yeah.
And I feel like the more that I'm doing that and I'm sticking to it and these good things have come into my life and that's giving me the energy to nurture them and let that grow. Everything's changed. My relationship with Charlotte's changed. That's got better. My relationship with Paul's changing all the time. That's just getting better and better. I feel calmer. I feel really peaceful. I don't feel stressed out very often. I mean, I still have my hormonal once a month want to kill everybody, but everything just feels really good and really everything that's happening, I feel like, is happening at the right time. I'm exactly where I'm meant to be at this time in my life.
Yeah. And that's a brilliant feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm.
But what you were saying about like the eclipse portal and maybe not feeling all sunshine and roses all the time. If we flip, and I know we've recently done an episode of boundaries, and I've perhaps said all this before, but honestly, it's just getting better and better. If we flick back to me this time last year, I was coming up to a really bad patch of I'd put all these boundaries in place. I'd said, no, I'm not accepting this anymore. And then I was kind of left a little bit bereft because all these relationships that I didn't want and had turned bad, if you like, were still they weren't in my life, but they'd taken up so much energy. It left this gaping hole. And at that point, there was nothing to fill it. And you can do self-care and you can see your friends and you can go out and you can kind of feel positive that you've got rid of all this bad stuff, but that bad stuff leaves a kind of grief behind, and you have to work through that until you can get to the good stuff.
Yeah. It's not interesting how much space it takes up to leave that big of a hole.
Oh, it's a massive hole. If you honestly, it's like so my relationship with Matthew, which I've talked about many times on this pod, oh God, it took up so much of my energy. It took up almost every waking thought because I was always like, well, sometimes we're happy and sometimes we're not. And sometimes I feel like this, but deep down, I don't think we're meant to be. And then we'd split up and we'd get back together and I feel glad we got back together for 15 minutes. And then after that, I'd be like, oh God, no, this isn't what I wanted. I should have stuck to it. And it was just this ridiculous cycle, which I've never been in before and will never be in again. Of trying to make something work that wasn't meant for me. And because it wasn't a great relationship, it was quite toxic and it was quite, because we weren't meant for each other and perhaps we were both trying to make it work, it took up all my energy of this constant thought process of, am I doing the right thing? Am I not doing the right thing? My gut instinct saying this, my head saying this. It was just, I mean, anyone who's been in that kind of relationship knows exactly what it's like. It is not good. But when you're in it, it's really hard to see clearly. And it was only by coming out of it. And the first few months of coming out of it, I was like, yeah, this is great. I don't need that shit in my life. This is really good. But then after a bit, loneliness creeps in. Because you've got, and it's not even a loneliness of I've not got friends to do things with, or it's not a time loneliness. It's like a brain loneliness because all your mental energy is gone on that thing, and suddenly there's nothing there anymore.
Yeah. And do you think that one boundary there like led on to more good boundaries in relationships?
Yeah, absolutely. Because we've got the family relationship, which I've talked about, which I also put an end to last year, and I feel that took up a lot of energy and probably not to the same degree. It wasn't as toxic. It wasn't as present every day, but it was definitely lurking in the background. And it's only now, what, a year later, more than a year later, that I can go, gosh, actually that did take up a lot more energy than I realised. Coming up to Christmas, the Christmas always caused me a lot of stress around that relationship about expectations, what people expected from me, what I did and didn't want to do. And I always felt like it was a bit of a battle. And that's just gone and that's just nice. So yeah, it definitely has. And I think because of that now, I'm recognizing very easily what things are good and bad and what to stick with and what to move away from. I mean, both those relationships were like long-term relationships, so they were the most difficult. Whereas I've had a couple of people come into my life, one in a kind of a business sense, and I just felt like that wasn't good. So I just cut that short really quickly. But that was easy to do because it always is with someone you've not known that very long. And I don't know, just a couple of, yeah, I'm just being really, really brutal, really.
Mm. Well, brutal or just like knowing where your lines are drawn, like quick,
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that, is there?
No, and also for that, for those other kind of not as important relationships, but just people who you kind of spend a bit of time with who you then start thinking, actually, do I really like this person, or is it just based on a bit of a shared history? We've kind of moved away from each other now. I'm going through this with one person at the moment. I'm like really thinking, have we got anything in common anymore? And it really upsets me to even think that because we used to be really good friends, but actually we've not got that much in common anymore. And I'm thinking, it's not really serving either of us.
Mm.
They deserve more from a friend than what I can give that person because we're just so different at the moment. And I deserve better. And, from a time point of view, you know what it's like being a mum. You don't have an infinite amount of time to spend with people. So it's so important you spend it with the right people.
Yeah.
And that's just making me like question everything I do when I'm invited to things now. Before, honestly, I used to be like, yeah, I'll go to that, and then spend a month wondering how I can get out of it because I don't want to go to it after all. But I'm just so used to saying yes to things without much thought. And now I'm just like, no, thanks, but no.
Isn't it interesting, like the knock-on effects of it and like over time? Because I think when you were going through that last year, the boundaries that I was working on were in work, relationships, and
Yes.
a role in the charity and all the places there that I'd like overgiven and had really poor boundaries, loads of people pleasing, and yeah, that was taking up a lot of energy, and that has made such a big difference there. But I was thinking yesterday, it's probably like you say, it's taken me a year to kind of get over that in a way and move through it because yeah, it does leave a big gap.
It does, and it actually gets harder before it gets easier. It's not, it's like, people say about abusive relationships,
mm,
like physically abusive relationships, like, oh, why don't you just leave?
yeah,
The gap, the void that leaves, it's not just the leaving that, oh, you've done it now, it's fine. It's not, it's a whole start of something. And that's for any relationship that there's been long term, isn't serving you, whether it's work, friendship, relationship.
yeah.
It's not over when it's over. There's a lot of like healing to be done and moving on and thinking about. I spend time thinking about Matthew, thinking about how did I let that get to that point
Mm,
when I know I'm so self aware and I know all the I know all the practical stuff, all the or what we should be doing, but sometimes applying it to your own life is just you just don't do it. It's ridiculous, really.
yeah, it's just
For me and you, we know this stuff, we preach this stuff, and we live by this stuff, and it's interesting how you can put it into your life in so many ways.
mm,
And I always say about myself, I'm quite brutal in some ways. I can cut people off very, very easily and never think about them again. But then in other ways, I'm just like letting things drag on.
yeah. I do think though that like sobriety and other things that we use to like numb ourselves play a massive part
That is
in
very
this.
true.
Because I've been thinking about this a lot the last few months, even when like, I mean, what's September now? So I'm like nearly 18 months of not drinking. Um, but the more I go down the road, the more I can see of the other things that I'm using to numb parts of myself and to shut myself off of things that I don't want to deal with, like TV, for instance, just using TV not as something like intentional and to enjoy, but using it as something to like escape and numb hard
Yeah.
or hard things. So when you start thinking about these things that you've used as a tool to numb or forget about the things you don't want to deal with or you can't see, it like makes more sense, doesn't it, when you start thinking about the ways you've ignored it?
Oh, absolutely. And I think the drink thing, yeah. I mean, I'd almost forgot about that, but yeah, that is playing a big, big part because I'm in a relationship, the first relationship I've ever been in my life, which I'm horrified to say that, but it's true, where I've not spent the first 3 months in a going out, being drunk, having hangovers. You're not really in a state to go, is this a person for me? No wonder we get it wrong so often because we're in that new, oh yeah, going out all the time, having fun, it's great. You're not actually thinking clearly about that person and going, is this person for me? Is this person a great life partner? How can you do that when, we all know you can get on with anyone when you're drunk, can't you? You literally can, and then being hungover gives me the same feelings as being drunk. I feel very warm with people when, and very loving with people when I'm hungover. Doesn't matter who they are. I could go out with you and get drunk, and I'd be like, "Oh, Sam, I love you so much." And the next day, hungover, those feelings would still be there. And then if you keep doing that and repeating that pattern, you're never seeing things clearly. And
Yeah.
that's been a big eye opener for me because this relationship with Paul. So we are 6 months in.
Mm.
And honestly, I've never been this close to somebody before because it's all done soberly. He doesn't drink a lot anyway. And he said how much he enjoys doing stuff that isn't revolved around the pub. Like having a Sunday walk is then usually followed by a drink in the pub and not doing that, just doing things. And yeah, it feels like I feel so connected to him emotionally. It's because everything's done soberly. And that's hard sometimes, it's not all been plain sailing, but we're navigating everything soberly and it just makes us strong. I've never felt this confident in a relationship and this, I feel strong. He sent me a thing the other day saying, I can't have a conversation with him without him sending me song lyrics. It's the thing he does. He refers, I try and have a deep conversation with him and he responds with a song or a song lyric or an example of it. And he sent me Solid as a Rock by Ashford and Simpson. And he was like, yeah, this is me and you. And he feels it as well. And that's weird, good, but weird. And a bit scary, actually, as well.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that, didn't we, just before we joined, about like how when you've got things this good, like you almost don't want to say how good it is
Oh,
out loud to too many people because there's that little fear, isn't there, that like
yeah.
it's too good, so something's gonna happen. But actually, like you deserve this. Like you absolutely deserve it. Everyone deserves this kind of like
Yes.
and happiness, and we have to remind ourselves of that and try and work through that fear.
Yes. And do you know what? The only thing I can relate it to is when I was pregnant. So
Mm.
when I was pregnant with Charlotte, I found out I was pregnant when I was 3 weeks pregnant, which is ridiculous, I do know, but I was 3 weeks pregnant when I found out. And I told people straight away.
Mm.
And even though I could see some faces going, oh, don't tell people till 12 weeks,
Mm.
what I kept saying was, I've never felt like this before. I'm
Yeah.
going to enjoy it. It was so, I mean, Jesus Christ, having a baby at 40, I know having a baby for anybody is a big deal, but having a baby for me at 40 felt like the biggest deal because
Mm.
I'd never really wanted children. I got accidentally pregnant at 40. Who does that? And the minute I found out, I was so connected to her and I was so, oh my God, this is huge. I can't wait. I'm excited. I've never known anything like it. I've never known a feeling like it. And I felt like there was no way I could have kept that to myself. And I didn't want to. I wanted to tell people how I felt, how happy I was, how life changing it was. And even though there was a bit of me going, because, and this is just, this bit of me isn't actually me. It's years of being programmed by the world to go, don't tempt fate, don't tempt fate, don't tempt fate. I was just like, no, fuck off. This is massive. I'm going to shout it from the rooftops because it's so important to me. And it doesn't really matter what happens. I'm telling people how I feel now because it's that important that I voice that. I want people to know how amazing this is.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about Paul at the moment and this relationship and the changes it's making to my life.
Yeah.
And he said to me the other night, Charlotte is into baking at the moment. And we had a conversation the other night, and he said to me, and no one ever speaks to me about my parenting because I'm not with Charlotte's dad. So you don't get that feedback about how good or shit a parent you are. I haven't got a clue. I just do my best every day. And he said to me the other night, he was like, "Do you know, you're such a good mum." He said, "It's Sunday. I've made tea. I didn't. He made tea, but I cleaned the kitchen." And then she went to bake. It was like 8 o'clock on a Sunday night. And he said, "You've just let her bake." He said, she could be messing up the kitchen. It's like, let's shut the kitchen time at 8 o'clock on a Sunday night. And you were just like, yeah, all right, darling. Just make sure you don't leave too big a mess. Just do a bit of tidying up after yourself. And he was like, so many people wouldn't do that. He talks about his parenting, he'd be like, no, you're not doing it now. The kitchen's shut. And he said, I wish I'd been a bit more relaxed about things like you are. And I've never seen myself as a relaxed parent ever because I know what goes on in my head.
Mhm.
And I just thought, I am more relaxed. And because I've not thought about that when I started thinking about it, I was like, I am more relaxed. And a lot of that is because this person has come into my life and made it easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have to think about anything. Anything that's not nice. I just think about nice things. What we're doing next week, what me and Charlotte doing next week, what me and Paul doing next week, when I'm going to fit my friends in. That's my thought process at the moment. That's pretty much all it is at the moment. Nice things doing, and then doing things for me as well.
Yeah. And then those good thoughts and those great things just generate more.
Exactly.
Things like your the Lady Gaga tickets.
Oh my God, yeah, I've got free VIP Lady Gaga tickets. I mean, what the hell?
I know. That is such a mega manifestation.
It is. And from a monetary point of view, not that it's about the money, but I'm just putting it out because it's so big. When I looked at those tickets, they're like £600 each.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, 600 plus, and I've got free Lady Gaga tickets. And the other thing that I'm learning about manifestation at the moment, and this is about evolving naturally, you don't need to be, right, this is what I want. This is what I'm going to do to get it. I'm going to do a gratitude list every day. I'm going to do this every day. I'm going to do that. If you are just naturally grateful, if you are just naturally feeling positive, it just comes to you. You don't need to do the work. You just need to think about what you want and it'll make its way to you. I know that sounds so flippant. And if there's anyone listening to this who's going through a shit time, you're probably hating me saying that because I've been in that situation where I'm going through a shit time and I've heard people going, oh, you can get what you want. And you're just like, are you fucking kidding me? No, you can't. The world is shit. But it isn't. You've just got to work through it. And if there are shit things going on, if you're really honest with yourself, you can fix them.
With boundaries. And
with boundaries and with the way you did. And I had this conversation with Charlotte about something. It was something practical, but I said, you can't stop things happening to you, bad things, you can't, but all you can manage is the way you deal with that. And if you can see some good in it, if you can see that chink of something in it, of how you can move forward, you can conquer the world.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so true. It really is. Yeah. I feel like I'm the polar opposite in my boundaries at the moment to you because of, I don't know whether it's this eclipse or what, but it's a lot to do with this eclipse because eclipses go in cycles. So this eclipse is part of a family of eclipses that started in 2007, August 2007. So if you think back to that time, what happened then is like coming up again, and any lessons you didn't kind of learn then will come up again, any challenges. And so when I started thinking about that, so in August 2007, I was single. I spent some time in Cornwall, which is weird because it's probably the last time I went to Cornwall on my own, like before this,
Oh, that is interesting.
which is interesting in itself. That summer, I also went to Canada on my own, like independently traveling. And I decided that summer that, like, that was it. I was going to be single. So I was just going to go and do all the things that I could to get used to living that single life forever.
Yeah.
I mean, I was 25. What did I know? Oh my gosh. But yeah, I remember going to Canada and like making myself go to the cinema on my own. I know we talked about that before, but that was that summer. Go to the cinema on my own, eat in a restaurant on my own, and get really happy with being on my own.
Yeah.
And then 8 weeks later, me and Carl got together and I was pregnant with George.
Wow.
So, yeah, what an interesting cycle of time to reflect back on and just sort of look into like how different your life can be within a really short period of time. So yeah, this cycle of eclipses is in my relationship house. So it's really throwing up all the challenges around all my relationships that like I haven't dealt with fully and that where new boundaries need to be put in place. And that's no shade on anyone else in those relationships because those boundaries are for me to put in place, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I know that they'll get me to a happier place than I'm in now,
Yeah.
but it's hard.
Oh God, it's the hardest thing in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really is. I mean, we said this before we started recording. It's the hard. I look back and I'm like, I was with Matthew nearly 4 years. What the fuck?
Mm.
But again, lessons. If I hadn't have been in that relationship, I would have been in this relationship, and the lessons I learned in that relationship, honestly, clearly, even at my age, the universe is like, you've still not learned them. You've still not learned them. You've still not learned them. You're still making the same old mistakes. And I've had so much thought about, I mean, God, I've had like internal therapy sessions about why do I keep having relationships that just aren't working. And interestingly, my boundary around a family member,
Mm.
the best relationships I had, there were two of them back in the 90s, were when that person was not in my life.
Mm.
Since that person was then came back into my life, I've not had a good relationship. I
Yeah.
haven't, or I've not had a relationship that's good enough for me.
Mm.
And now that person isn't in my life,
Yeah.
I found this unbelievable relationship. I found this person who shows up for me in everything he does.
Yeah.
We hear about that, don't we? I never really knew what that meant. He shows up for me all the time. He does things for me, and not in a like, oh my God, he's too nice. He isn't at all. He's a sarky bugger. He's pure Manchester. But he's just there for me. I feel like he just gets me and I get him. And I've not had that. And I think your important relationships, how can you have those and have the boundaries you want when you're letting other people in different areas of your life pretty much walk all over you and speak to you like shit?
Mm.
How can you then demand respect from other people when other people have got knowledge of this almost, you know? I don't know. It just feels very, very coincidental that this is all happening now.
Yeah. It's no coincidences.
It
Because
isn't.
really, if you think about it in manifestation terms, if you're letting someone treat you poorly, then you're actually saying, I'm okay with being treated poorly.
Absolutely.
You invite more.
Yeah, you do. You absolutely do. And I'm still like, whoa, by that, even though we know it 'cause we've done the work and we've talked about it, but actually knowing it because you're feeling it and it's happening to you is a whole new level of like, I don't know. There are no red flags in this relationship. that isn't to say it isn't perfect. We've navigated stuff where still boundaries on a much lower level, and there are lots of things that drive me mad about Paul. And there's lots of things I'm sure that drive him mad about me, but they're not red flags. They're just part and parcel of a relationship. But it just feels so, oh my God, so healthy.
Mm,
It feels so healthy. My gut feels, after having this gut instinct for years, going, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is so wrong, for my gut to now go, this is so right,
yeah. Yeah. It's good.
is amazing. And I don't feel a need to like rush into anything. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm going to marry this person. I have no doubt about that. But I've no need to rush into it. I have no need to rush into living together. I just know it's going to happen. It'll happen when it happens. And I don't want to rush into it with 6 months in. I'm not stupid. I've got a child, you know.
Mm,
Um, I'd live with him tomorrow in a heartbeat, but I'm not going to because I don't feel like it'd be right now with 6 months in.
mm.
I've got a nearly teenager in the house. Do you know what I mean? But
That's the first time I've heard you say that about getting married
oh,
ever.
really? Oh, I'm absolutely going to marry him, honestly. If I have to drag him down the aisle, I mean, he's not really into marriage, but I just feel like I've had one experience of marriage and it really wasn't good. I don't want that to be my only experience. I want a ring on my finger. I want to feel like, I mean, I do feel connected to him permanently, but I want to show the world. I just want a ring on my finger.
Mm,
That sounds bonkers, I know, but I really, really do. I just want to marry him and be with him forever. And I know you can do that without a ring,
yeah.
but I want a ring.
Good for you. Yeah. Doesn't
Yeah.
sound.
Not in a materialistic way. I mean, I'm not like, oh my God, I want the biggest ring ever. He could literally buy me a ring. As long as that ring is decent enough that it's going to last me a lifetime, I don't care what it is at all. He
Yeah.
could put a bloody curtain ring on my finger. I don't care. But I
Mm,
want something on that finger.
yeah. Yeah. Good on you.
I hope he never listens to this. He won't. He's really not into stuff like this. But yeah.
Oh, in my polar opposite world where I'm still working on some of these boundaries, the ways I'm coping are
Go
gratitude.
on. Yes.
Always gratitude. That's always still there. There's always so much to be grateful for, even to the people that are like challenging you in the boundaries area. There's always something to find to be grateful about them with. So I'm still doing loads of that. My daily morning yoga practice and connection with nature always keeps me going. And then a new one into the mix is wild swimming.
Oh, I love that.
Is really regulating my nervous system. So I don't normally have any issues regulating my nervous system. You know, I work on it a lot with my practice and my business and my yoga nidra. But this eclipse, like I've found it super challenging to like keep my nervous system really calm. And the only thing that's doing it is having a dip in water.
I love that.
I know. So, obviously, really easy in the summer when you go to lovely places with sea and that.
It's a lot easier, isn't it?
So much easier. I had this most beautiful time in Penzance where my friend Anna is a sea swimmer. So I was with someone that's like seasoned swimmer in those conditions, and I'm not. So that really helped. And there was one morning I woke up, the kids are up late and everything, so I could get out early for a swim. I was driving down to the sea, and I just got hit with this like massive wave of emotion, just like tears streaming just out of nowhere. This has like been my whole eclipse portal, really. But that morning in particular, a big wave of it. And the power of just getting in the sea and thinking, I'm going to wash this emotion away. I'm going to let it go through me. I'm going to cry, but I'm also going to wash it away and come out of that sea renewed. And I did. And it was incredible, like absolutely incredible. I didn't swim far, I wasn't in there for long, but there's just something magical about that connection with water and nature to just help when you don't really know what else to do with yourself.
Yeah.
And it was, yeah, really, really special. When I was in the sea that day, I had got these two bands on my arm from India. I've still got one left, but I had another one that was from an ancestral healing ceremony when we were out there. And I mean, it's 6 months. It's no joke that it's 6 months from India. This is like all universal timing, I think. But the ancestral healing band came off in the sea that morning.
Oh,
I know, I could see it going, and I'm like, it's time, like, to kind of close that cycle. And I don't know if I talked on the pod about this. It would be a whole other episode, but there was big ancestral healing there, so it felt like a closure of that, which was amazing. And so yeah, swimming. So now that I've come home to my very landlocked Buxton, this is a challenge. It is a challenge, but the last couple of days I'm managing to find little places, like my special place in the woods. I managed to dip my feet in for quite a while. And then yesterday I went for a walk with a friend and I was like, is there any way I could paddle my feet along our walk? And actually there was somewhere to get in the water. So I had my cosy and my little changing robe. And I was like, when we got there, there was enough water to sit in it. I was like, I'm just going to sit in it for a minute if that's and I just like sat in a river. But I can't tell you how good it feels afterwards. Like, well, you will experience being in the sea and water and stuff, but just because I'm at a point where like I'm struggling a little bit with my emotions and my nervous
yeah.
system, it just washes it all away and brings it.
Right.
It's really special.
And what you've said about the bracelet, losing the bracelet and closure for that, that's the universe freeing you up now to concentrate on the next thing that you need to deal with. And also, for you or for anybody else who's dealing with like putting them in place, the boundaries and being firm, because it is really hard. It's the hardest thing ever. Because it's scary. It's so much easier to stick with the status quo where it's safe and warm and nice.
Mm.
But also think about the timing of it. If you're not ready, you're not ready.
Yeah.
If people aren't ready, they're not ready. The universe will propel you to do something, or it will propel someone else to do something to make it happen at the right time.
Yeah.
Well, if anyone is beating themselves up about why am I going back and forth, which I did for 3 years, I was always beating myself up about it. We go back and forth because it's just not the right time. The right time will present itself and you'll do it and you'll get the strength and you'll do it and it'll happen. And you don't know the reasons for. So I'm going to give you an example of me and Paul. And I only thought about this recently. So me and Matthew are back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth. I end it. And then I'm basically on my own for just shy of a year, like literally 2 weeks shy of a year when I meet Paul. And I feel like that's so good because I did so much healing. Then I felt really, so I was euphoric with split up. Then I was just enjoying myself. Then I was a bit like, oh, winter's coming. I'm on my own. Then I was just miserable because I was just like, I've got this big void. I feel lonely. It's shit. And then in the new year, it kind of got a bit worse before it got a bit better. And then things got better. And as they got better, I met Paul. So I met him at the right time for me.
Yeah.
In his life, I don't know who he is. I've never met him before, but I meet him for the first time. So Paul's a widow. His partner died 2.5 years ago now. So he also went through something. I mean, not also went through something traumatic. I'm not comparing what I went through with what he went through because he went through like an awful time with grief, which I try and understand, but I don't because I've never had a partner die. But so he spent a year on his own battling grief. He then spent however long it was going, I think I might want to meet someone. I'm going to do something about that. Then he met me. So if me and Matthew were to split up, any time when we didn't, our worlds wouldn't have aligned or collided. It happened when it happened. We'd both been through something. We'd both had enough time on our own to deal with those things, although they were very different things. And then when we're both feeling a bit like like better and wanting to move on. We met each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that wouldn't have happened any other way than the way it did.
Yeah. You've totally got to trust the timing.
Yeah, absolutely. So even though you can feel like, oh, I want it to happen now, and why isn't it? Why am I not making things happen? Maybe it's not about us making things happen, which is what we said at the beginning. It's about letting things unfold sometimes, and let's just see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right. I think you are. And another thing I've used to help is crystals. So this carnelian crystal found its way to me twice in two different ways, and that's a really fiery crystal.
Oh.
So I'm using that as well because I'm more on the peace end of the spectrum than the fire end.
You are.
And that's okay. But boundaries sometimes need a little more fire from you, don't they?
Yeah.
I'm working with that as well to help give me a little
Yeah.
in that arena.
Yeah. And I think you're lucky because of all the work we do. As you come into kind of winter now, you've got all these things, haven't you, to keep you happy, keep you positive, keep you feeling up.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We've got a whole suitcase load full of tools, haven't we, after all?
We absolutely have. And, if you look at this year, both of us have had a really, what's the word I'm looking for? We've both propelled forward this year a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been
in the things that we want. Because although we do this pod together, we're actually very different, aren't we? We have a different approach to things, and the things that we want and the things we've concentrated on this year have been very different, but in our own ways. You've moved on leaps and bounds. I've moved on leaps and bounds. And it's funny, I feel like business-wise, I've done absolutely nothing all year. I've not made a single goddamn penny on anything for me. But that's not where I am this year.
Yeah, it's not what you want to focus on, is it? So.
Not at all, no. So, yeah. So imagine what next year can bring.
Well, this is it. This is what I'm thinking now of excited about even what the next 6 months will bring for both of us. What did I have? I had a chakra reading or chakra healing session in India, which said that by next Shivrati, which is the festival in February, my life would be completely different, like planets eons away from what it is now, as long as I remain focused on and disciplined on looking after myself and getting up in the morning, getting on my mat and focusing on the good. So
and I love that. I love that when you've got something to kind of work towards, because that voice is telling you, well, everything's going to be all right, because I've been told everything's going to be all right.
Yeah, and I know that, and I feel that, and even in the hard times, to have that faith in it is big. It really means.
Yeah. And if you think about where you were this time last year, we'd need to probably listen back to remember where we were this time last year. But your life has changed massively since this time last year. Like already, even though it may look the same, you live in the same house. On the surface, it looks the same, but it isn't, is it?
No, it's completely different. And, it's not always what you expect it's going to be either. And that's
no, it absolutely isn't.
That's part of like trusting the timing, trusting the process, and trusting the outcome, and not trying to dictate the outcome and make it all what you think it's going to be. Just, being intentional and going with it. And yeah,
exactly. And the changes, and I'm the same. I live in the same house. I don't look much different from this time last year. But honestly, I feel like a completely different person. But people probably can't see that at all. But it's interesting that the changes we make internally have such an effect on our external as well.
Yeah, it is interesting. And just to top off the universal symbols, I've told you about this before, but I got home from hosting my nap club the other night, and a little hedgehog walked across my path. And I looked it up, and the spiritual meaning of hedgehogs is protection and boundaries.
I love that. Isn't it funny how things come together? So I'm just Googling because I didn't Google it the other day. I was walking around Aldi. I only went in for two things. So I was dead quick, went in, it was absolutely throwing it down, paid for two things. And all the way around, I was thinking, I feel so happy. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for Charlotte. I'm so grateful for the relationship we've got at the moment. She's just moved up a year in school, and honestly, she's like a different child. Not that she wasn't wonderful before, she was, but I just feel like me and her are having a whole different relationship. It's just getting better and better. I'm grateful for my relationship with Paul. I'm grateful for my relationship with my family. I'm so grateful for my friends. I'm so grateful for you. And I was literally walking around just probably smiling a little bit, thinking, I'm so grateful. I've got so much in my life. Like, the important stuff is all there. And just as I turned around, there was a massive rainbow in the sky. And I just kind of smiled. I took a picture of it, sent to Charlotte, but I just kind of smiled and thought, of course there's a rainbow there. Why wouldn't there be? So I've just Googled it because I didn't. But spiritually, a rainbow symbolises hope, renewal, and connection between the earthly and the divine. I don't really know what that means, so we might need to explain that. It represents a promise after a storm, which is very significant, a reminder of beauty emerging from hardship, and a bridge to other realms. It's a sign of God's faithfulness and promise after judgment. It can signify good fortune, love, self-acceptance, and spiritual awakening. And if you don't believe in God, then anything that you do believe in, it's the same, isn't it? I believe in the universe.
Yeah.
And I believe that if I just stick with that, everything will be all right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, it's really lovely you just like read that. You just reminded me that we watched the sunset at Land's End in the summer, and there was a massive rain, like a wall of rain that came towards us. But as that left, double rainbow appeared.
Wow.
And obviously, you know, a rainbow is a beautiful sign, and it was a gorgeous moment. But I think I needed to hear that today. So thank you for that.
There we go. It's like therapy, isn't it, this pod?
I know, it is. I know. We must do this more often.
We must do this more often, yeah.
But we can't guarantee when, but we'll try our best.
Yeah, but we will try our best because it is really important. And we hope people are like enjoying it as well. I mean, we don't actually speak to any listeners, so we've no idea, but yeah.
Yeah, we hope something has resonated with you with boundaries, whether you're at the high point of feeling the benefits of them or the kind of lowish point with freedom.
Yeah, building your way up to deal with it. Yeah, it is. It's a really, really tough one.
Yeah, I quite like that we've covered the spectrum of like dealing with them, putting them in place, but also dealing with like the tough stuff when you're building up to it as well.
Yeah,
there for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Love that.
Well, thanks for listening, and we will see you soon.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us today on the Manifestation Pod. We hope you feel inspired to start creating the life that you've been dreaming of.
Remember, we're all in this together, and we'd love for you to be part of our community. So don't forget to subscribe, share, and connect with us on socials.
We're here every 2 weeks, so catch us next time with more tips and tools to help you manifest the life you deserve.
Until then, keep believing, keep manifesting, and keep living that extraordinary life. Bye!
Bye!